5 years ago, the world came together to say goodbye to the greatest, and we continue to honor the legacy of the great Muhammad Ali in more ways than one, including through this new film. Take a look.
They just came from all over, China, Turkey, Australia.
And one of the things we had in common was our love for Muhammad Ali.
His barrier was bigger than any president.
The procession was an out-of-body experience for me personally.
I always remember how unified we were in celebrating the life and legacy of Muhammad Ali.
Now that's a look at City of Ali, a new documentary about boxing legend Muhammad Ali, his hometown Louisville, and his legacy. And to tell us all about the film is author, actress, advocate, and of course his daughter, Rasheda Ali. Good morning, Rasheda! All right, so I gotta say your father was greatness personified. Nearly 1 billion people watched the funeral on TV, and we heard you say in the clip that it was an out-of-body experience being at that service. How so? And I thank you also for sharing your dad with us. I'll let you know how we're all like connecting about him right now, but what is your memory of that day?
It was surreal. Yesterday marked the 5-year anniversary of his passing, and it was a very solemn moment. It was very sad for me. Usually around this time, I usually get really sad, and now I know why, because it starts to bring back memories, especially when I watch City of Ali. The whole story was built around my dad's passing and all the events that took place during that time, and it was refreshing to be able to reflect on that time in the film, because I was able to see footage that I really didn't remember, because everything was a blur that day. I had footage of people standing outside for miles and miles from the cemetery or the funeral home to the cemetery, just making this 20-mile journey of people, over 100,000 people that embraced Louisville to just pay their respects. So that time was, I had periods of memory loss, because it was just I was numb by the admiration. I was also grieving. So it was a tough spot for all of us, but it was refreshing too, because what a wonderful, warm send-off that my dad had. The love and respect was something that I could not, unless you were physically there, you couldn't even mention it. You couldn't even describe the love and admiration that was in the air that day.
Well, there is no shortage of movies, documentaries, books, and stories about your dad. I said to you earlier, thank you for sharing your dad. Our photographer, Greg, just walked over to me. He's like, I sat on Muhammad Ali's lap in Newark in 1963 when he came to see Minister Shabazz. Everyone remembers, whether you met him in person or if you just saw him through the television, he had that effect on all of us, no matter where you were in the world.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Go ahead.
Everyone has an Ali moment. Everyone, either if you were blessed enough to meet him or you remember watching him on television performing, it was always a moment that you would always remember.
And it feels like we all know him so well, but I feel like City of Ali gives us a different perspective that we haven't seen, because it takes us back to his early days. What are some of the things we'll get to see from City of Ali?
What was really nice is that a lot of people, they know my father, but they don't understand how important he was to us as people, especially African Americans. You'll see, when you watch the film, you start to say, oh, that's why Muhammad Ali meant so much to so many people, because it started to bring back things from his life, his trials and tribulations, what he did, his 6 core principles that he used in his life to make him so successful. He didn't have an easy life, and the film kind of shows that he went through so much turmoil, but the sacrifices that he made for all of us was unbelievable. And it was, everyone can possibly say that Muhammad Ali made me feel special because he made me feel good about myself, because he was so kind to me, because he gave me courage, because he gave me strength. So all of those feelings, you really kind of feel that in the movie.
Yeah, and I know that we talked about you sharing him with the world. Now you're a mom. And you are your father's daughter, by the way, because he spoke up against inequality, human rights. He was a Parkinson's advocate, and here you're a speaker, you're an author, you're a human rights advocate. So as a mom, how did having Muhammad Ali as your dad help you, like, with raising your own children?
You know, my dad was, when we were younger, he was a part of our lives. And then when the divorce took place, there was a period of time where we didn't see him every day. And that was the period of time that I really, really, really missed. So as we got older and, school, college out of the way and everything, I really connected with him. And we became really, really close as I got older. And then I had my own kids. So my children was very deeply connected to their grandfather. So we shared a lot of really personal conversations. My dad gave me lots of advice. He led through examples. So as a father, he was more like a friend to me because we shared things. We weren't afraid to talk about things that were kind of, rough or some conversations that people normally wouldn't talk about with their father. So he kind of gave me that opportunity to open up those lines of communications with my own children.
And I love that we continue to honor him. There's a festival going on now through the 13th in Louisville, and now City of Ali, the documentary about her dad, the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, is available nationwide today via Abramorama. We will be right back. Thank you so much, Rasheda. Such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Anytime.